game. KD went 5 for 5 from 3, didn't miss a shot in the first half, scored 23 points in 17 minutes. Here's the stats from our elder statesman.
Wow.
Yeah, that worked out, right? LeBron had 21. KD had 23. Brew, who had the more surprising performance?
Well, look, I'm not surprised either guy played well, but we had been watching LeBron be arguably the best player on the team throughout the exhibitions. So I expected him to play well, and obviously he did. But KD, because he had not played, this was his first game, he was what, an hour before the game they decided he was going to play?
Yep.
I expected him to come in, make a couple shots, miss a couple shots, but just get warm and, get the rust off. And he turned the game around.
Yep.
When he went in the game, they were down, 6 points, and he hits 2 threes, leads an 11-0 run, and obviously they took over from there. So I was more surprised by Durant. Durant is the perfect Team USA player. I mean perfect, because he's surrounded by other great players, so the defense can't focus on him. They can't double team him. And so he's either getting an open shot or one-on-one. And with his height, obviously, it's tough for guys to guard him one-on-one. And look, it's kind of like Carmelo Anthony. Like, it's no coincidence Carmelo's the second leading scorer in Team USA, Durant's first, because you just get open looks. And if you can shoot jumpers, and Nick, you and I talk all the time about how Durant needs to shoot more threes. This three-point line is shorter.
Exactly.
So those are the long twos he's usually taking, but now they're threes. So Durant was fantastic, and I was a little surprised that he was so good in his first game.
So when I saw it, I thought of something you say all the time, which is, I don't know if your exact quote is malleable, but that Durant is the most malleable superstar in league history, that you can drop him into any team there is really, throughout history or current, and he would fit. And I thought this is perfect evidence of it, which is literally never played with these guys as a collection, comes in and makes them seem, for the first time all tournament, unbeatable. I have thought they're unbeatable, but they haven't looked unbeatable until this game. But neither is surprising. These two men, right now, Durant's first all-time in points, LeBron is first all-time in assists. At the end of this Olympics, LeBron and Kevin Durant will be first, second, or second first in points, rebounds, assists, shots made. And they are the two most prolific Olympians ever on the men's side of things. So neither is surprising. Both is frustrating, though, Wilds. And I don't mean to turn it something negative, but I will just for a moment. I can't watch Durant and LeBron do this and not get angry at their franchises. I can't. And
the Suns you're mad at?
The Suns and Lakers both, because all of us, myself included, in the commentary world, have maybe prematurely downgraded LeBron and Durant slightly as far as where they are in the NBA hierarchy.
I buy this.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, because LeBron's almost 40, he's in year 21, so he's not a top 5 guy anymore. He's, 11, 12. And Durant, is he better than Devin Booker? Is he not? Man, when I watch these two guys, healthy, rested, under these circumstances, sure feels like these are the two best players on the team. And if you're the two best players on Team USA, yes, Giannis, Jokic, Luka are the 3 best guys. Take those 3 guys. But during this tournament, LeBron James has looked like the 4th best player in the world behind those guys. And Durant, in his very limited action, now looks like neck and neck with LeBron. And it just feels like they are still top 5-ish players even at their age.
I'm going to push back a little, and they look great. But Kevin Durant has Devin Booker and, when he's healthy, Bradley Beal as teammates. I'm not going to feel sorry for him. LeBron does have Anthony Davis.
Who's been awesome in this tournament.
I'm not going to feel sorry for him. And you can talk about the role players and all, but they got some people on their squad. They got second stars. I think what helps, in particular LeBron, in this is that this is 6 games? And if you count the exhibition, it was 10 games. When you get older, like we saw Kobe, I know he took 50 shots or whatever, but he scored 60 in his last games. When you get older, you can still have great games. It's just, can you do it through 82 games? And in a 6-game or 10-game run, LeBron can play harder on defense.
Yep.
Because you know what I mean? It's not an 80-game season with playoffs coming. So I think that's part of it. I also think, Nick, in the international game, what we kind of consider athleticism, speed, jumping ability, that's not as big of a factor as it is in the NBA. So the fact that LeBron's lost a little athleticism doesn't really hurt him in the
these
international
Olympics,
game.
and it looks like he's the best athlete on the court every game.
He's been
He looks like he's twice as strong as everybody else.
Twice as strong.
He's literally
as a good
pushing grown men down.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm here. He
Oh, he can
tackled
go
the
to
guy.
the hole whenever he wants. It's like
Guys are flopping around. He also played
been better than somebody else.
27 minutes, so that seems like a nice spot for him. Durant played 17 minutes.
Right.
Didn't start the second half, so maybe the minutes are nice too for if you're a little bit older. I do think, just before we move on to Tatum, do you feel like Durant might not be long in Phoenix? That's what I started. I'm like, oh, this Steph reunion feels nice when they're doing the press conference together. They're
I
happy.
don't know.
Steve Kerr giving them all Tatum's minutes.
Oh, if you could do
Here's what I do think, Brew. I think that some pairings coming out of this tournament. I mean, it's every Olympics it seems to. And so when you were last week, we talked about could it be LeBron and Steph if LeBron plays long enough. I think that one of the things that happens if you're still an apex predator in this league and your team, for whatever the reason is, because you're right about Anthony Davis has been maybe the third best player in this tournament.
Than Embiid.
He's been.
That's not even
I think that when you get a taste of this, it makes it even more frustrating to then going back and playing in games that don't matter as much on teams that aren't really championship level. And it you know what I mean? It makes you want to scratch that itch a little bit.
And with LeBron, I mean, when he was in Cleveland his first stretch and didn't have this type of talent, he never complained. Then he played in the Olympics. You go to Miami, and now every year he's like, man, I need better players because he's so smart, and playing with better players is great for him because of his IQ.
LeBron, and we have it in Weird and Wonderful. I don't think we have it queued up. In the I think it was the fourth quarter, when LeBron gets the and one, he's on the ground, and Durant comes up flexing, and LeBron gives his LeBron scowl. I almost joined the Marines. I swear to God, that hit me in some patriotic part of my heart. I got really fired up for all of America. But the moral of the story is he is at peak intensity that you're not seeing in regular season. I don't know if I saw it in the
It's
in-season
6 games.
But
he
is
fired up.
Go hard
it
for
also, and I hate even speaking this into existence, but it's basketball reality. I think he knows if he stays with the Lakers and he only plans to play 1 or 2 more years, these might be the most consequential games I have left in my basketball life. You know what I mean? Not that that's a definite, but that in fact, I'm certain he knows that's on the board. That the most, you know what I mean? The games with the highest stakes that I'm going to play the rest of my basketball life are over these next couple weeks.
Yeah. Also has now beaten Joker 3 of the last 4 games.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, I'm back. All right, now let's talk about who didn't play. 10 guys got playing times, 12 guys on the team, however. Halliburton and Jason Tatum, DNP coach's decision. Here's Coach Steve Kerr on that decision.
Jason's going to play. Every game's going to be different based on matchups. He's a total pro. He's, first team All-NBA 3 years in a row. I felt like an idiot not playing him. But in a 40-minute game, you can't play more than 10. You really can't. And so I think he's an amazing guy, great player, and handled it beautifully. And he'll be back out there next game.
All right, a few things. First of all, yes, you can play more than 10.
If you can play 10, you can play 12.
Exactly.
Especially when you win by 26.
And when you get the amazing guy compliment, that is basically an insult.
Yeah.
Kevin Wilde's not going to show. Amazing guy, though. Amazing guy.
That's what I say about you every time.
Amazing guy. As soon as you hear amazing guy, we have an intern watching.
Yeah.
If anyone calls you an amazing guy, you're doing a bad job. All right, Brew, how should Tatum feel about the benching?
Well, look, publicly, it's odd because publicly you have to put on a good face. I mean,
Tatum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Privately, though, as a competitor, you're going to be ticked off. But you can't really say it to anybody.
He wasn't crazy, bench mob guy.
Oh, no.
I was watching it. He was just.
It was reasonable, but he didn't put on the face Halliburton did.
No,
Halliburton was I'm just happy to be here.
Right.
Yeah.
They're at different stages.
Yeah.
One's a world champion, first team All-NBA 3 straight years. middle of his, I guess maybe beginning his prime. Right?
Sure.
Halliburton, like you said, he's just happy to be there.
Also,
he's a
one
young
is
kid.
clearly the best player on his team, and the other's Jason Tatum, and so it's like it's a weird spot.
But I think what helped him, I would imagine, like if I was in his shoes, what would help Steve Kerr going to him before the game and saying, look, we got KD coming back. Your minutes might be small, or you might not play at all because we got KD. And explaining to him the matchups. Hey, they're big. We're going with all three of our centers. They're guard-oriented. We're playing some guard, so you might not play. No, I do think that helps you. If I were in that situation and the coach came to me beforehand and said, look, blah, 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 you may not play today, that would feel better than if I'm blindsided. I think I'm the seventh man, and then I'm not playing. And one more thing quickly. I think what will determine how he feels ultimately about this, Kerr said he's going to play against South Sudan. That's their next game.
Yep.
If he plays 3 or 4 minutes, it's a tight game, then I think it's really going to hit Tatum like, yo, I'm like one of the bottom dudes on this team. If he plays 16 like he played last time against them, and he's in the rotation, he's a factor, I think he'll brush that off as it was a matchup thing, it was a KD thing. But we'll see how it is going forward.
So it's obviously extra weird because what the last few months have been. Conference finals happen, Jaylen Brown gets the trophy. And it's like, oh, I never win anything. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Finals happen. The Celtics win easily. And the only person who seemingly really struggled in that series, I understand your point, Brew, on the Celtics side of things, which is he had a better series than maybe the box score suggests. But the only person who really struggled, by his own standards, is Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown gets that trophy. Now the Olympics are happening, and I don't think Kerr made a mistake. That's my take.
At all?
Yeah.
Like he should have put him in. Well, unless he felt like it was insulting to put him in.
Because here's the thing. I think people are looking at this a little wrong, and this is what is so interesting to me. It's really just a Jason Tatum versus Devin Booker question. That's what it is. Kerr can talk rotations, matchups, this, that, or whatever. Devin Booker is getting his minutes.
Okay, Devin Booker had 26 minutes.
I know. And
Do you think Booker's better than Tatum?
Well, Steve Kerr does.
Well, not necessarily.
Here's the thing. I think with this three-point line, because it's weird. Tatum is a better career three-point shooter than Devin Booker and was better three-point shooter this year in the regular season. Shot more and had a higher percentage. But in the playoffs, it plummeted for Tatum. And this is a shorter line, and Booker and KD love those long twos, which are threes in FIFA. And so, yes, Embiid might have his minutes cut, but that's just because they're going to go to Bam or AD.
And he's not really playing that much.
And he's not really playing that much either. The guards are Ant, Steph, Derek White, and Drew Holiday. They all kind of have unique roles. The wings, forwards, LeBron, who has been the best player. Durant, who's played one game and was perfect. Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. So it's really when you said Kerr, if he came to you ahead of time, if I were Tatum, he came to me ahead of time, I think my thought process would be like, okay, I understand all of this about Kevin Durant, but why is Devin Booker ahead of me in the hierarchy? And the only answer to that question, I think, is we think Devin Booker's better. Or a better fit for what we're doing.
I was going to say, see, that's what, and I don't think Tatum's going to have a huge role, even if he starts playing going forward. But he has to look at it like this is not just the best player. He's better than Derek White and Drew Holiday. Can we agree on that? He's better than Bam Adebayo.
Yes.
And I do think he's better than Booker. You can argue that, but I think he's better. So, and heck, Jaylen Brown isn't even on the team. So I think he has to look at it for himself that, look, I can't let this get me down because it's not about I'm better than these guys.
Get you down, man.
Well, he's going to get your goal. I mean, if he doesn't play at all, I guess.
He's going to be the first guy ever, Wilds, to win a championship and have a bad few months. From where he is in the NBA hierarchy standpoint is my point. Like, since he could win a championship and a gold medal, and from the day before the finals started to the medal ceremony, drop in people's mental rankings of players.
I mean, a controversial take, it's probably good for the Celtics next year.
Motivation?
A little bit.
No,
Like, I'm
look,
disrespected now. Like,
yeah,
Jaylen Brown's like, me
absolutely.
too. Like, we're both in the same boat
It's kind
now.
of like I've talked about the Chiefs. Like, even though they won the last 2 Super Bowls, they got a reason to be motivated. He will have a reason to be motivated. But here's the other. Team USA has to recognize who's their leader. I mean, it'll probably be Anthony Edwards.
Oh,
but
moving forward?
Tatum going forward is a critical part. And the last Olympics, he was the second leading scorer. So he has had his moments on the international stage, and he's going to be a big part, I would imagine, going forward. So you got to kind of be careful about that.
All right, before we move on, here's the weird part, because Kerr said Tatum was going to play, and then he said, I'm not going to answer the second question, who's not going to play? So I'll ask you, if Tatum does get minutes and he only wants to play 10,
Embiid.
oh, you think Embiid's not playing?
Well, I think Embiid
the
will have it
matchup
cut significantly
isn't right.
because he said we're going to play 3 bigs this game because of who it was. So, I think Embiid, but I
The
just
athleticism.
But the problem
Embiid only
Embiid
had
is
11
he's been
and
a
he was
starter.
out quickly.
Embiid's been bad.
Embiid's been worse
bad.
than Jason Tatum.
I don't know who's having the toughest Olympics from a mental standpoint thus far. Tatum, Embiid, or Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown's